The quiet before everything changed. Miles Donovan adjusted his glasses as he sat at the dining table, a steaming mug of dark roast nestled in one hand, blueprints spread before him like an architect's chessboard. It was just another calm morning on Willow Fern Lane. In the kitchen, his wife, Elena, moved about with the graceful precision of someone who thrived in rhythm, humming softly as she flipped pancakes and packed school lunches for their two children, Lily, 8, and Nathan, just 5. To any casual observer, the Donovans were the embodiment of suburban contentment. Their house, a charming two-story colonial, sat tucked between carefully manicured hedges and daffodil-dotted lawns. Wind chimes gently swayed on the porch, catching the sunlight and the breeze. But beneath the tranquility of their family life lay a truth far more layered than neighbors could guess. While Miles spent his days drafting commercial spaces for a fast-growing architecture firm, Elena carried a past forged in intensity and shadows. Once a Green Beret sniper with multiple tours and a reputation for unwavering focus, she had left it all behind after falling in love with a man who had never held a gun but who could build homes like dreams. Her military past became a part of her history, folded and stored away like a retired uniform, never truly forgotten. The morning air was crisp, and rays of sunlight filtered through the windows in soft, golden hues. Lily laughed as Nathan zoomed his toy rocket onto the table. Even the sparrows outside seemed to be in harmony with their peaceful world. Then came the sound that fractured it all, the idle growl of an unfamiliar engine pulling into their driveway. Elena wiped her hands on a kitchen towel and peeked through the curtain. A black luxury sedan idled at the curb. Two men stepped out in suits that didn't match the laid-back tone of the neighborhood. One clutched a clipboard, the other a leather folio. Something in their body language tugged at Elena's instincts. Her time in uniform had taught her how to read posture, tone, and intent, and these men didn't seem like harmless administrators. Miles, ever the optimist, opened the door with a polite smile. "Mr. Donovan?" the taller man asked, flashing a badge that bore the emblem of the Willow Glen Homeowners Association. "Yes," Miles replied, already sensing something was off. "My name is Gregory Lang, and this is Mr. Crane. We're here regarding some community violations on your property. Specifically, the non-compliant color of your front door and the unapproved height of your perimeter shrubbery." Miles blinked. "Are you serious?" Lang's voice was robotic. "Homeowners are expected to adhere strictly to Willow Glen design standards for the sake of consistency and property value." Elena appeared at the door beside her husband, crossing her arms. She looked the two men over silently, taking in every detail from their poorly concealed sidearms to the faint bulge of earpieces curling into their collars. "We'll look into it," she said evenly, her eyes locked on Crane, who shifted uncomfortably under her gaze. As the sedan drove away, Miles exhaled with exasperation. Shrubs and paint? This is what they're wasting time on. Elena didn't answer right away. Something about the visit had unsettled her. This wasn't about aesthetic standards. It felt like surveillance. A probe, testing the boundaries. By midweek, a formal notice arrived couched in sterile legal language, but clear in its ultimatum. Fix the violations in 7 days or face further action. Miles buried himself in the HOA's regulations, combing through bylaws and trying to understand the escalating absurdity. Conversations with neighbors proved unhelpful. Most were either afraid of the HOA or unwilling to speak against it. The whispers hinted at hidden fines, retaliatory fees, and even anonymous threats. Elena, meanwhile, acted. She trimmed the hedges herself, ignoring the blistering sun and the silent stares from passing cars. She agreed when Miles suggested repainting the doorknob out of compliance, but because she sensed that confrontation was inevitable, and she preferred to pick the ground it would happen on. Then came the 7th day. That night, a matte black van rolled to a stop outside their home. Elena stood in the upstairs hallway, motionless, watching from the shadows as 3 men emerged in tactical gear. Helmets, batons, no badges, no explanation, just presence. They didn't knock. "Mr. and Mrs. Donovan," The lead figure bellowed as he approached. "You have failed to comply with the directives of the Willow Glen Homeowners Association. You are hereby evicted from this property." Miles, confused and pale, stepped outside. "Evicted? For bushes and paint. Noncompliance is noncompliance," the man sneered. Elena joined her husband, wearing a plain shirt and jeans. She looked ordinary except for the unmistakable stillness of someone who was coiled and ready. "You're trespassing," she said calmly. "This is your only chance to leave." They laughed. "What are you going to do, lady?" one jeered. Elena didn't flinch. She stepped between the men and her children, who were peeking nervously down the stairs. She murmured to Miles, "Get the kids to the basement." "Now." Miles obeyed. As the basement door clicked shut behind them, Elena faced the three intruders alone. "You should have left," she warned. The lead man gestured toward her, and the first of his team lunged. He never reached her. With a sidestep and a twist of her wrist, she redirected his momentum, sending him crashing into the wall. The second hesitated, uncertain now. She advanced, a blur of motion, her strike precise and deliberate. He stumbled back with a cry. The third tried to encircle her, but Elena anticipated his move. She grabbed a lamp, swung hard, and caught him square in the ribs. He collapsed. Miles and the kids could hear the chaos above. "We need to call the police," he whispered. "No." Elena's voice came from above. "Not yet." While the enforcers regrouped outside, embarrassed and rattled, Elena secured the house. She locked doors, pushed furniture into place, even set makeshift traps using string, glass bottles, and spare screws. Improvised alarm systems, just like she'd used in Afghanistan. Outside, their failure turned into fury. The leader barked orders. "We smoke her out." She heard the threats through the window and smiled to herself. She thrived in asymmetric warfare. That night, neighbors began gathering. Cameras came out. Whispers grew. And then the dam broke. "Is that Elena Donovan?" one neighbor asked aloud. "Didn't she serve in the Special Forces?" "Green Beret," said Mrs. Whitaker from 3 doors down. "She saved 2 teams in Kandahar. I read it in a veterans magazine." The crowd murmured. Inside, Elena received a text from Mark Laskin, Miles's old college roommate and a property attorney. "Looking into HOA bylaws. Something's fishy. Stay tight. Help's on the way." Her hands didn't tremble. She was in control. As the enforcers tried once more to breach the house, Elena launched her counter. Fireworks. Leftover from July 4th, now wired to make sound and confusion. She triggered them in sequence, flashes and booms lighting up the lawn like a battlefield. The enforcers ducked, disoriented. "What the?" More explosions. Elena moved swiftly, fortifying doors, setting new traps. Then the final message came. "Rachel, authorities en route. Injunction filed. HOA under investigation. You're not alone." Sirens pierced the early dawn. Police. News vans. Crowds. Spotlights. And enforcers? Trapped. Officers moved in, calm and firm. They took statements. Neighbors shouted support. Journalists recorded everything. Then one enforcer, desperate and reckless, tried to sneak back into the house. Elena was waiting. "Wrong move," she said as he tried the window. A tripwire sent a cascade of metal pans crashing down. He froze. She stared. "Don't make me hurt you," she said, unblinking. He fled. That morning, headlines exploded. Green Beret Mom defends family against HOA enforcement team. Investigations unraveled layers of abuse fines, threats, private security misuse. The HOA president was indicted. Their contracted enforcers were exposed for working illegally. Elena became a reluctant symbol. Veterans groups honored her. The neighborhood celebrated her. But she never wanted fame. She wanted peace. And that peace meant leaving. The Donovans sold the house. They moved to a quiet town where the hills rolled wide, and no one cared about shrub height or door color. One evening, as the sun dipped below the trees, Miles stood beside her on their new porch. "You okay?" he asked. Elena nodded. "We're safe." Lily ran across the grass, chasing fireflies. Nathan squealed with joy behind her. "Mom, he said at dinner. Are you still a hero? Elena smiled, tucking his hair behind his ear. No, baby. I'm your mom. That's all I need to be. And with that, the Donovans began again stronger, wiser, and free.